Good morning, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Back from our Labor Day weekend. Hope you guys had a chance to relax a little bit, catch up a little bit with your journey, kind of refocus on it. I got things moving in the background here on me. And thank you once again. Great comments, great subscriptions. We got lots of people now, 560. It's nice to kind of see that. It's nice to see that people are becoming more and more aware of the topic. And that's going to be kind of the topic that we're going to talk about today. Great comments from Money Muster 7. I think I said that right. I hope I did. And Alvin and Curvy. Mountain Wolf had one. I'm gonna kind of focus on some of these as we go along. I appreciate it. Malik, thank you so much for your comment. I had something flashing in front of me here, and I appreciate all those great comments. And please continue doing those. We're trying to, get to 1,000 subscriptions next, but we also want to kind of continue with topics and ideas. I know Grad had one on a question on talking about night pollution, he calls it. Yes, and we'll talk about dreams and those type of things. I'll go back over that. I think I did a video on that once, but we'll kind of refocus on issues because a lot of new people are joining the station and network, so we're in good shape with all of that too. But a lot of good comments. Curvy had a great suggestion, an idea how to deal with some of this in a practical way, and I want to kind of focus on that too. So Curvy, I'm going to do one just on your suggestions, so thank you very much. And if you guys have victories and things that you want to share, please do so. I'm happy to talk about them on our station, because this is all about you guys more than it's about me. I'm happy with what I've discovered after all these years, and I just want to kind of share that with everybody else. But I want to make sure that I'm trying to help at least one other person, and it looks like I'm helping a few people, so that's nice to see. And I'm kind of serving the purpose that I think the Lord's kind of now pushed me into, in trying to direct me into going into what I should be going into, and that's helping people. And so that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. So please share ideas. Any way that I can help you, let me know. Especially in this area of semen retention and talking about at least ideas and my experiences on the thing. Obviously, I'm not an expert on any of this, but I can tell you what I've experienced over the last, now it's 823 days or something like that. And monk mode's up in near 70 now. I think it's 68 or something like that. I'm trying to think. 63. I think someone asked me that question too. So thank you for all that. And so I want to shout out to all you guys for continuing to ask questions and things like that. Now this kind of gets us to a topic a little bit here. My name is 07 had a great question on haters of semen retention. So we're going to talk about that, and I think I'll title this one something like for those haters of semen retention. We'll talk about that. So let's talk about the idea of retention and what we're trying to do here. We're trying to improve people. We're trying to get to the point where we are trying to become better people. That's the whole goal. I think God has looked at us, at our bodies, a temple. We want to get better and better as time goes on, become better in the purpose of the Lord, become better people, more effective, more helpful, contribute more to the world. All these things are important types of things to focus on. Now, in my journey especially, I was lacking in a lot of areas, and I think a lot of it was energy. Lack of energy, lack of really kind of focus, and lack of trying to kind of get things done. So I think I struggled for many, many years trying to figure out what was the best thing to do. And I didn't really think there was anything when it came to something like retention, because I was one of those people, like a lot of people that sometimes I hear from, and other people talk to me on the streets and talk to people that I talk to in class and things like that, that they're just not They just don't believe it. Now, whether or not you talk about this in terms of retention or semen retention, some people don't like the word semen retention, and so they balk away because of that. There's no difference in that. And then talking about levels of control, levels of energy, celibacy, brahmacharya, when it really comes down to it, you're really kind of talking about self-control. Now, are there people who don't agree with it? Of course. There's lots of people. I mean, we're talking about, we're the 1%. So you're going to have, thousands of people who either don't know anything really about this, never really learned anything about this, or they've been brainwashed into thinking that this is all wrong, like I was for many, many years. And all you got to do is pull up the videos and saying, you'll find videos on how bad this is, and this is going to hurt you, and all that kind of stuff. And, you have to really dig deep to kind of look at the history of mankind and realize that this is all founded back in a lot of the old traditions of warriors. And people, and still now, boxers, you see lots of stories with Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and all these people who were able to retain, and they were told not to have any kind of intercourse before they went out for battle. Well, there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason for that, because you're basically kind of looking to kind of keep all your energy inside. Now, if you're not doing anything with it, can it be a negative? Sure, we talked about the dangers of semen retention. We've talked about the fact that you can't really go ahead and, you can't just let it sit there and not do anything. I mean, that's going to hurt you as well. But the thing is, you want to transmute it and make it into energy and do something with it. And if you do that, well, then you're going to be able to kind of transmute it into something else. And you won't have some of the other effects that people say they have when it comes to retention. So, but I don't really look at that. I mean, I think everybody has the right to their own opinion, and that's the freedom of the expression speech that we have. I would just encourage those people who don't believe in semen retention to try it and see. We've had a lot of great examples, and I've had a lot of testimonies on this station about how great semen retention is. And if you do it the right way, and you kind of do it in terms of having goals and purposes, and you go away from thinking about women, and then you'll achieve a lot more. Now, women are wonderful. There's nothing wrong with women. If you're a man here, we're talking about. But you can't focus your whole life on that. That's where the problem is that I think a lot of men run into. They focus on this. They get thirsty. They like the images they see. And so now they get caught up in a whole cycle of this. And for men, it's kind of easy because we're not really trained when we're kids to for any of this kind of stuff. We kind of just are taught to go ahead and do your work, do the things you need to do. And as you grow up and become a husband and a father, you're sitting there taking care of your family. And you don't focus on some of these other things that are happening around you. And so there is a reason why men are men and women are women, And through the history of mankind, you're going to find people who are going to be above board, good people. But then you're also going to find people who are evil people. And they have the evil aspect. They have a self-centeredness that just goes beyond any kind of rationality. And so basically they're going to try to take advantage of you. And you have to be careful of that as you go through life, and realizing that temptation's always going to be there. But also realize you have the strength to overcome all that temptation. And that, I think, is the key thing. You have the strength to do that. And you're strong as a person. And as a person, you're strong enough to be able to put this together and say, okay, I'm going to go on a streak here. I'm going to do this. And there's a lot of support behind you from people, because we all believe that this is a strong, right thing to do. But there's a lot of people who are going to be jealous of you. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be upset with you, women and men, because they recognize that what you're doing down deep, they don't know why they're reacting like they're reacting probably, but they recognize that this is different. You're different. And people see that in your energy level, and they treat you differently. Some people will treat you with respect, but other people will treat you the opposite way. And they may not know why, but down deep, the real reason is that you're kind of going back to the normal way humans should be, not the way that people want you to be. And they want you to be lack of energy, weak as a male, and they want you to be easy to be overcome by anything around you, whether it's manipulation, whether it's war, whether it's battling, whatever it might be. But you are a strong warrior, and a strong warrior has to be strong in all departments of their life, whether it's strong in religion, strong in intellectual type abilities, strong in physical types of abilities, all these type of things the warrior must continue to be strong with and battle on. And no matter what happens around you, you have to be able to deal with that. So for the haters out there who don't believe in semen retention, I would just encourage you to go out and try it. And you don't necessarily have to start off with monk mode, even though I eventually went to it, because in my mind that was the easiest way to kind of accomplish everything. And I have lapsed myself in monk mode, so I'm back to about 60 some days right now. But the idea is that gets you away from thinking about it. Now, it's almost like any other kind of addiction. You can't just go cold turkey. I couldn't just go monk mode. And so I think I had gotten up to about 200 days or something like that. And monk mode is difficult. That means any kind of thoughts, any kind of ideas, you have to eliminate. And that's not always an easy thing to do. So as we look at this, I think that the key thing is to think about the fact of where am I right now in my journey? Am I just starting out? Am I trying to get a foothold in this? If you're a younger type of man, I think it's important to recognize that, this is a great habit to start right now. And in my mind, this is going to get you a lot more things you want, goals, success, money, because you're going to be focused. I mean, in my mind, guys, and I told this to my son one time, I don't think you should ever worry about finding somebody, because people will be there. If you succeed, if you got everything going for yourself, you don't have to worry about that. And especially when you're on semen retention, because you're focusing on better yourself. And no one in their right mind, and if they're not in the right mind, you don't want them anyway, right? If they're not in the right mind. But no one in their right mind is going to not want somebody who has a lot of things going for them. And, you look attractive, you have a lot of great intellect, you're physically strong, you're mentally strong. All of a sudden, who is going to not want that? So really, as time goes on, you're going to basically kind of have a lot of the pick of who you're looking for. The key is going to be you have to find the person you really want to be with. And so that's kind of the key to the whole thing. It's not more of a choice of all the people around you, well, I'm going to be satisfied with somebody. You really have to, as part of this plan, if you're going to pick someone to be with, pick the person who's going to help you the most. Not the person who's going to drain you the most, but the person who's going to help you the most. And that's the kind of person that's going to help you achieve those goals and continue to move upward. So this is a key thing when you talk about trying to succeed, is find people around you that are going to help you. They always talk about the difference between criticism that's just and unjust. Unjust criticism is people who tell you something that you can't do anything about. Like you're too tall or you're too short, things like that. Just criticism is people that will help you try to figure out a solution to the problem. That's what you want to find out. No matter what the issue is, we all make mistakes. You want to find out a solution. And this is going to draw people to you as you go on, because you're a problem solver. And a problem solver is somebody who continues to work on issues and try to get better as they go along. So as we talk about this more and more, it's important to realize that the betterment of the person comes down to a lot of self-discipline, self-control. And you're going to have a lot of people who admire that. You're going to have a lot of people who don't admire that. But you have to kind of drown that out and say, okay, I'm going to pay attention to the people who encourage me. I'm going to work with those people. I'm going to kind of look those people out. And it's like the law of attraction, you're going to basically kind of be a magnet for those type of people. The successful people, the ones who continue succeeding and getting things done. The difference really is when you look at people, are they getting things done or are they just talking about getting things done? That's the key. You want to actually see the people actually getting things done. And if you get people that actually get things done, all people will flock around that person. But that means you can't be wasting your time with any kind of like pictures or people who are going to make you negative. I had that problem a long time ago, and I remember it well. I'm not going back to the time where I didn't realize my own self-confidence and idea, magnetized people that were negative and people who were not really positive in my life. And I suffered through a lot of years because of that, until I realized that I had to surround myself with people who are positive. Now, conjunction-wise, once I started doing the Fountain of Youth stuff, all of a sudden things change as well. And I think that you begin to attract those people who are like-minded, almost like a magnet. And I think when it comes to trying to, be happy, be self-disciplined, be someone who is within God and talking to God, that's when you need to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to start my journey. Now, it may be a week or two, and all of a sudden you'll relapse and then start again. It's a lifestyle change. And as long as you continue to focus on making that lifestyle change, no matter who the haters are, no matter what people are talking about. See, a lot of people live in their own world, and they live in their own world in jealousy and upset because they can't do what you're doing, or they don't want to do it. A lot of times it's peer pressure. A lot of times people don't want to react because they're afraid of the consequences. We saw this through this whole pandemic situation, right? And so, I kind of laugh about it now because a lot of the truth is coming out about all this kind of stuff. And, it's just it's a funny type of case study on how people can get brainwashed and tricked very easily. So temptation is there. And as Satan is always talks about, right, the devil is in the deeds there. The devil does not want you to know he's around. Once you identify that the evil one is there, and you're more apparent aware of it, he's lost his power. It's almost like the story of the myth of Dracula. I always found it funny that he always used to say, I think it was Van Helsing used to say this, that the power in the vampire is the fact that people don't know the vampire exists. They think he's a myth. And really the evil one, you could probably replace those words and put the evil one in there, because that's kind of what it is. The evil one does not, the power of the evil one is that no one believes there is really a spirit. And all through my life, one of the things I've recognized is there are spirits. And those are spirits that are good, and there's spirits that are not so good. And you have to avoid those spirits not so good. And you have to kind of create your own life and go your own way. I've had many, many haters over the years, many situations over the years. And I'm just continuing to push on. Because in my idea, in my world at least, God is number one, Jesus Christ is number one, and all these other things don't matter. Now, it took me many, many years, guys. I'm 61, so it took me many, many years to get to that point. But I want you guys to kind of start thinking about this now in your 20s, 30s, 40s, that you guys realize what life is really about and not all the stuff that's being pushed in this world. And that's kind of why Jesus talks about the fact that we don't live in the world. We live in principalities and spirits and all that kind of stuff. All right, my friends. Well, great talking to you guys today. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a great Monday. Oh, no, this is Tuesday. Heck. I forgot about yesterday was a holiday. Today is Tuesday. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk again. Once again, thank you guys for all your comments, and God bless each and one of you guys in your journeys, and hope you guys continue to have great success, and battle on. Battle on.